Hi everyone, I'm Regina. Welcome to my consumer behavior presentation. Why choose one cafe over another, even with the same price? Why return to the same salon, even if others are cheaper? Service experiences matter. Understanding consumer behavior is important. Services are intangible. We can't touch them before buying. Trust and experience matter. I'll discuss consumer behavior, factors, and how businesses improve service. Let's explore.
Let's start with the basic concept. Consumer behavior refers to the study of how people make decisions when buying, using, and evaluating products or services. It involves understanding why customers choose certain services, how they decide, and what factors influence their satisfaction and loyalty. In the context of services, consumer behavior becomes more complex than in product marketing. This happens because services are intangible, variable, and based heavily on personal experience. Since customers can't see or test a service beforehand, their decisions rely more on trust, reputation, and emotions. For example, when we choose a hotel, a restaurant, or an online learning platform, we often depend on reviews, recommendations, or past experiences. This shows how perception plays a huge role in service decision-making. There are three key stages in consumer behavior: before the purchase, pre-purchase stage. At this stage, consumers recognize their needs and search for information. They compare alternatives and form expectations about the service they want to use. For example, before booking a flight, someone might compare ticket prices, airline ratings, and schedules. During the purchase, service encounter stage. This is the moment when customers interact directly with the service provider. In service marketing, this stage is critical because the service is produced and consumed at the same time. The way employees communicate, behave, and respond will shape the customer's perception of quality. After the purchase, post-purchase stage. After using the service, customers evaluate whether their expectations were met. If the experience is positive, they may become loyal customers or recommend the service to others. If not, they might complain or switch to competitors. This cycle shows that consumer behavior in services doesn't stop at the point of purchase. It continues long after the experience is over. Now, let's discuss the key factors that influence consumer behavior in services. 1. Personal factors. These include age, lifestyle, income, personality, and motivation. For example, young consumers may prefer online-based services like food delivery or streaming, while older consumers might prefer traditional in-person services. 2. Psychological factors. These relate to perception, attitudes, beliefs, and emotions. A consumer's mood can even influence their satisfaction. If they're happy and relaxed, they tend to perceive the service as better. 3. Social factors. Family, friends, and social groups often influence service choices. For instance, someone may try a cafe or gym simply because their friends recommend it or it's trending on social media. 4. Cultural factors. Culture affects how people value time, service quality, and communication style. For example, in Indonesia, warmth and friendliness are often valued more than speed, while in Western cultures, efficiency might be more important. 5. Situational factors. These are temporary conditions, like time pressure, weather, or location. Someone might choose online shopping during heavy rain simply because it's more convenient. By understanding these factors, companies can predict customer preferences, create better experiences, and improve satisfaction. Now that we understand what influences consumers, let's look deeper into how consumers actually make decisions when using services. The consumer decision process typically includes 5 stages. 1. Need recognition. The process begins when a consumer realizes they need a service. For example, when someone feels tired, they might decide to book a spa treatment. 2. Information search. After recognizing the need, consumers look for information. They can get it from online reviews, advertisements, or word of mouth. Since services are intangible, people rely more on reputation and recommendations. 3. Evaluation of alternatives. Here, consumers compare different options based on price, quality, convenience, and brand image. They try to predict which purchase decision. This is when the consumer finally chooses a service. Emotional factors often play a big role here. A friendly attitude or a trustworthy brand can easily influence the final choice. Post-purchase evaluation. After using the service, consumers judge whether their expectations were met or not. If they're satisfied, they might become loyal or share positive reviews online. If not, they may switch to another provider. In service industries, the post-purchase stage is especially important, because one bad experience can spread quickly through social media. That's why companies must handle feedback and complaints carefully. Now let's talk about types of consumer behavior in services. 1. Routine behavior. This occurs when customers repeatedly use the same service without much thought, for example, visiting the same coffee shop every morning. Habit and comfort play key roles here. 2. Limited decision-making. This happens when consumers have some experience but still compare a few options. For example, someone who usually uses one delivery app might try another because of a promo. 3. Extensive decision-making. This involves complex and high-involvement decisions, such as choosing a university, hospital, or travel package. These require more time, research, and emotional investment. 4. Impulsive behavior. Sometimes, consumers make spontaneous decisions, like booking a last-minute hotel or buying a concert ticket just because it's on sale. Emotions and temporary excitement influence these choices. Let's also look at the role of customer satisfaction and loyalty. In services, satisfaction doesn't just come from the core product. It's built through the whole experience, including interactions, ambiance, and even after-sales service. When customers feel valued and emotionally connected, they are more likely to return. Marketers often use the customer satisfaction model, where satisfaction equals perceived performance, expectations. If performance exceeds expectations, customers are delighted. If it matches expectations, they are satisfied. But if it falls below, dissatisfaction occurs. To maintain loyalty, companies should deliver consistent service quality, handle complaints quickly, personalize experiences, and build trust through transparency. For example, airlines often offer compensation for flight delays or points for frequent travelers. This is part of a loyalty strategy based on understanding consumer behavior. To sum up, understanding consumer behavior in service marketing is one of the most essential aspects for any business that offers services. Unlike physical goods, services rely heavily on human interaction, perception, and experience. That means consumers don't just buy the service itself, they buy how the service makes them feel. Throughout this presentation, we've learned that consumer behavior is influenced by various factors, such as cultural background, personal preferences, social influence, and even emotional state. These factors shape how people perceive quality, satisfaction, and value. For example, when customers feel that a service provider understands their needs, responds quickly, and treats them with respect, they are more likely to stay loyal, even if competitors offer something cheaper. This shows how emotional connection and trust play a huge role in service marketing. Moreover, by analyzing consumer behavior, companies can improve their strategies. from designing better customer experiences to creating personalized marketing campaigns. It's not just about attracting new customers but also about maintaining long-term relationships. In conclusion, the key to success in service marketing lies in empathy, truly understanding what customers want and how they behave. When a business can do that, it doesn't just sell a service. It builds a meaningful relationship that leads to loyalty, satisfaction, and positive word of mouth. Thank you for listening, and I hope this presentation helps us all see how powerful consumer behavior is in shaping the world of services.